Welcome to our second installment of talking about this excellent book, Die with Zero. I want to tell you a story. I thought of a friend story that I thought was a little bit more apropos to this, and it's a bit of an allegory, I guess. So I'll share that with you, and I'll pull a couple lessons out of it, but it'll sound familiar. It won't be probably something that will seem foreign to you, because I think this is a story that really applies to all of us. So the way I think about this story is waiting to live, I guess. I think that if you think about the idea of waiting to live, that might be a huge cost. If you wait, the cost may be not really participating in life, not really having, sort of the influence that you'd like with people. And so if you've ever heard someone say, like, I'll do this when I retire, or I'll have time for this later, that kind of thing, it's familiar. I think we all do it. It gives us some sort of security. But if you delay the joyful things in your life that you'd like to be doing, that may be the biggest cost of all, which is that you don't really get to participate in them. You don't get to participate in them with people that you care about. So this is a story really about like delay and ultimately regret. So this is a friend who worked very hard his whole life, really was focused on growing his wealth and his company, and his net worth was just deeply into 8 figures. So had sort of achieved his goals and was clearly had everything set for himself and his family, but everything that he wanted to do, he kept sort of pushing it down the road. And by the time he did step away from his business, this is common. I just had an article about this. I think the time when people are retiring from their businesses, selling them is getting later and later for various reasons we can get into another time. But you're seeing people in their 70s oftentimes still operating their businesses. So in this case, my friend John, he was in his 60s. He thought, it's time, I'm ready, I can sort of afford the lifestyle that I'd like, I'm ready to go for it. But almost immediately, and I think these things are related, and you can draw your own sort of correlations, when he stepped out of the business, his health started to decline. So this is a person who'd been pretty active. There was a large facility and a large campus. He was all over the campus, probably got in, easily his 10,000 steps, maybe 100,000 every day. So he stopped doing that and he started planning vacations and, sort of living a different kind of lifestyle. His health went, honestly, just from being one of the more fit guys of his age to just really declining very quickly. So what does that mean? So long flights, not so interested anymore, energetic, not really there anymore. So all this idea is like, okay, I'm going to quit work and I'm going to have these adventures, just didn't pan out, because basically now what he wanted to do, as he sort of got used to the sedentary lifestyle, was just sort of hang out and maybe drink beer and try to get people to come over to the house and hang out with him. And so basically the two things that he believed that he was going to have after his retirement, his health and time, he ended up with the time piece, but not really able to sort of engage in the thing that all these adventures that he thought he would do once he got done. And so, Perkins talks about this in the book. He says, we all think we're going to wait for the perfect time for this, for that, for the other thing. In early stages, we'll wait till we're ready. We have enough resources for kids. If you do that, you may wait a little too long to have kids. Or my wife and I had children relatively older, and that's a huge driver for us now to stay healthy, because we got to keep up with these kids for many years now, and I'm hopeful that we're able to do that. So far, so good. But Perkins in the book talks about the common things that happen. Health declines. Opportunities actually fade. Like, you may be doing great as you get older, but you may not have active friends. Like, you may not have people who want to go out and about with you, or even able to at that point for various reasons. And then the idea of creating memories, that gets deferred again, because now you don't have any. You just sort of think, oh, we'll do it next year, we'll do it another time. And it just keeps getting sort of pushed away. And so some questions I would have for you related to this story, which is all too common, is, like, what are you postponing right now? What are you thinking? What would you love to do, but you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have friends to go with, or whatever? Then what's actually holding you back? I think a lot of people, when they look at this, the things they think are holding them back are not necessarily actually holding them back. They're sort of conceptual and probably able to be solved or broken through. And then the last question, probably most important question, is what can you do today? Just think for a minute about this. What experiences are you postponing? What's holding you back? What can you do today to solve for that? Like for myself, pick up the phone, I'm going to do a text. We talked in the last video about heli skiing, and I actually just talked to my friend about it, but we didn't cover it. I'm going to write him a note right now, and I'm just going to say like, hey, let's get back to planning this. Okay. And I'm hopeful we'll be able to do it this year. Usually it comes in the springtime, and so it's possible it could still happen. So I'm going to put this in motion, and let's see what happens. All right. So back to a little bit of an aside there. So back to, for myself, what experience was I postponing? It's this heli skiing with some friends. What's holding me back? Don't have time. Didn't sit down to plan it. Just sort of BS stuff, frankly. So I need to get over that. And then what can I do today? So what I did was just picked up the phone, sent a text, sort of got things in motion again with a friend, and let's see what happens there. And then maybe just to sort of wrap it up and to put it out to you, what you can do, take that first step. Think about the experience that you've been, wanting to achieve, who you want to do it with. Think about what's been holding you back. Oftentimes it's just like picking up the phone, making a plan, get started, just putting it into motion, letting other people know you want to do it, and oftentimes they'll help you. So don't let your fear or your habit or any excuses hold you back. Take that first step to make these things in your life happen that you've been waiting for. Today's the day.